Continuing from the previous episode 2730. Find the latest chapter in Fighting the Sky God, Yan Emperor novel. He doesn't seem to intend to defend against Mizuchi-sama's attack? Could it be that he wanted to use his own power to intercept the attack of the Holy Throne Mizuchi? How is it possible? The Holy Sea's attack is a fighting technique close to the quasi-divine rank, and the power of destruction contained in it. Even the real eightfold reincarnation rank peak powerhouse cannot rely on the physical strength. One after another noisy voices sounded from the passage. Unfortunately, most of their strengths were around the 7th to 3rd reincarnation level, so they could not interfere in such a terrifying battle, and could only watch this shocking battle quietly. Just with the appearance of Xiaoyan's fusion action, almost all the evil creatures felt a burst of emotion. The temperature of the whole world became extremely hot in an instant, and even the evil Tianhe created by the Shuiji Holy Throne was filled with water. Countless flames boiled for it. At this moment, Xiaoyan's body is surrounded by 17 holy flames, and his body is magnificent. It has evolved into a scorching sea of fire that never goes out. In this sea of flames, even if there was any hint of rebelliousness towards Xiaoyan in their hearts, a trace of sacred flames spread from the bottom of their hearts unpreparedly, roasting their hearts and souls. Xiaoyan was already the true master of this sea of fire, and even the supreme evil power of the Shuiji Holy Throne was slightly dimmed. Tick-tock, the evil water curtain sloping out of the Tianhe began to tilt, drip, and surrounded Xiaoyan little by little. Drops of pitch-black raindrops fell on Xiaoyan's side, and even bursts of harsh white mist appeared in the void. Following that, the evil giant net slowly shrank, trying to completely cover Xiaoyan and imprison it, so that the evil water curtain could perform a sure kill blow. The death ray on the side was also approaching little by little, trying to cut Xiaoyan into countless pieces of debris. The 3 attacks, no matter what they were enough to easily shatter Xiaoyan's body. Unfortunately, this was Xiaoyan. Dragon God Transformation. Ho ho ho! Immediately, the 1st to 7th transformations of the Dragon God were cast out in an instant, and the supreme dragon blood of the Golden Dragon King in his body boiled. With the power of Xiaoyan's Dragon God transformation, his body was blessed like a copper wall and an iron wall. As Xiaoyan's voice fell, the Shuiji Holy Seat, who had been in a high position for a long time in the distance, began to look solemnly at Xiaoyan. Under the latter's feet, the endless sea of fire lingering all over his body made Shuiji's eyes deep. A little bit of apprehension emerged. Today, he already regrets his impulse, but now the arrow is on the string, and he has to send it. Dragon God Transformation? The supreme law of the Dragon Clan? In the passage, the confidants of the saints looked at Xiaoyan's body, the Golden Dragon King's ghost shadow and the tyrannical Dragon King, but they began to feel a sense of unease and quickly magnified. If the Shuiji Holy Throne can compete with Xiaoyan, who possesses 17 holy flames, but if it is combined with the power of the Dragon God Transformation, how can Xiaoyan be defeated by the blessing of several powers? For a time, a shock and fear filled their hearts. The Lord of the Endless Flame Alliance, the descendant of the Xiao clan, really deserves his reputation. If that's the case, let's see who is stronger and who is weaker. Kill me! At this moment, the Shuiji Holy Throne also smelled a strong sense of unease, and the palm of his hand was firmly against Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan in the distance launched an endless offensive. First of all, a giant net of evil black dots surged towards the sky, roaring towards Xiaoyan with the momentum of thunder. The latter's body was dark, and if it was suppressed by it, it would be a little dangerous. Above the death ray, there are countless human emotional fluctuations. If it is eroded by it, I'm afraid that the mind will be instantly controlled by the sounds of tens of thousands of suspense. At the end is the power of the rotten water curtain sloping out from the Tianhe. It gathers the fusion of water attribute power and evil power. In this attack, it contains the original power of the Water Childhood Holy Seat, which is difficult for ordinary people to resist. Of the 3 types of attacks, the power contained in almost every attack far exceeds the scope of the demigods. Such a destructive situation is naturally extremely challenging for Xiaoyan today. In the face of such a common devastation, Xiaoyan did not move, but raised his palm slowly. After the rebellious Saint Yan in the past had harvested the flame god cauldron, he suddenly became soft and obedient. An ancient fire cauldron would be in the three reincarnation tombs behind him or sheltered, and no matter how the endless evil power is swayed, it cannot be loosened at all. After doing all this, Xiao Yan's fusion speed became stronger and stronger. The demonic sound resounded through the heavens and the earth, and the sea of fire space around Xiao Yan began to collapse. In the void, waves of pitch-black demonic energy continued to rise from it. After just a moment, the evil giant net swept Xiao Yan's entire body for tens of thousands of miles. Void, corroded into demon land. The corners of the eyes of the many high-level Shuiji Saint clan entrenched in the back throbbed violently. They could clearly feel that in the space Xiao Yan occupied at this time, all the power of heaven and earth had been completely swallowed up and corroded by the evil giant net. In the world of demonic energy, it only takes 1 minute to completely transform Xiao Yan into a monster. But would Xiao Yan sit still like this? Saint race does have some background. In the face of the first attack of the evil giant net, Xiao Yan chuckled lightly, raised his arm covered with the protection of the dragon scales, and gently waved it away. The power of the tyrant dragon scales cooperates with the endless breath of holy flames in the body, slanting out. Crack! Following Xiao Yan's understated actions, the entire gigantic web of evil that was as high as 10,000 meters started to crumble at a speed visible to the naked eye. Gorgeous flames and blue-colored Baxia dragon scales flashed with ancient divine power, and suddenly poured out from all directions of the evil giant net, attached to it, and the raging fire burned violently, causing the evil giant net to collapse rapidly. In that gorgeous flame, there are countless flame properties, even a powerhouse of the same level would not dare to touch it easily. Death Ray, the evil giant net was instantly shattered by Xiao Yan's flames and the power of the tyrant. Immediately, the Shuiji holy seat's face sank, and the scarlet palm suddenly lifted up and pressed it away. The evil giant net shattered in an instant, however, countless evil demonic energy suddenly poured out from the magic land, entwined with a death ray only the size of an arm. Above the death ray, the gray color exudes an extremely evil wave. I am afraid that with a simple wave, a small world will be destroyed. Golden Dragon King, Shadow. Faced with such a vast attack, the smile on Xiao Yan's face became even crazier. The power of the Golden Dragon King's bloodline that had been entrenched in his body slowly turned into a golden dragon shadow several meters in size, facing the death ray like a shooting star. Whistling away, the tiny golden dragon shadow and the evil arm surged together, breaking through countless voids, and suddenly slammed together. For a time, the sky and the earth changed color, and the sound of the explosion resounding through the heaven and the earth hit the soul directly, making the body suddenly tense and solidify. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click the favorite below to record this time. Chapter 2746, The Emperor of Flame. The reading record, you can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. If you like Fighting the Heavens God, Yandi, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 2731. Find the latest chapter in Fighting the Sky God, Yan Emperor novel. Boom! The huge explosion Yuba shook the whole world completely, and the huge movement generated by the circles of dark evil forces and the golden dragon phantom was like a tide of energy, spreading freely in this world. In the mountains and peaks, wherever the energy tides are affected, abyss cracks of hundreds of meters are torn apart, and the whole world is on the verge of collapse. Dachin world, it's not something you mobs can erode. The next moment, the sky-shattering sound of the explosion slowly ended. Xiao Yan, who was in the center of the explosion smoke, smiled faintly, and immediately stretched out his broad palm. On top of his palm, an exquisite flame lotus platform twisted slightly, blooming with endless sacred power. The flame lotus platform is about half the size of a head, and the whole body is gorgeous, like a sacred object carved by the gods, and it is not as delicate as a mortal object. If you look carefully, you can even find the endless mystery contained on it. There are many lotus leaves waiting on the flame lotus platform. If you count them carefully, there are as many as 17 lotus leaves, and they are even sheltered by 17 lotus leaves. At the position of the lotus heart below, I am afraid there is something more terrifying than the lotus leaf. Taking the power of Fenju as a guide, the product of the fusion of the 17 holy flames is so terrifying. This fluctuation. At this moment, the smile on the face of the Shuiji Holy Throne instantly solidified, and the gloomy eyes stared at this flaming lotus platform. The mystery in this flaming lotus platform can only be sensed by a powerful person like him. 17 lotus leaves are all transformed by 17 holy flames. It is already a great opportunity for ordinary people to get a holy flame. Now, 17 holy flames are in the hands of Xiao Yan. The latter's control over the holy flame, the power fluctuations that are volatilized, may be enough to completely solve himself. Because of the different attributes of the flames among the holy flames, now the 17 holy flames are fused together, and the power can be said to be a lesson from heaven and earth. 17 lotus leaves. Extinguishing wheel flame heart. The next moment, Xiao Yan slowly raised his hand and threw it towards the Shuiji holy seat standing on top of the Tianhe in the distance. As soon as the flame lotus platform was thrown, it suddenly burned the surrounding void and trembled, ignoring the protection of the surrounding evil forces for a moment, and arrived in front of the Shuiji holy seat under the Tianhe. If the small flame lotus pedestal was placed on a normal day, the Shuiji holy throne would naturally be too lazy to pay attention to it, but now Xiao Yan's methods have caused his eyelids to twitch violently, and even the source of evil in his body is invariably agitated. There is no doubt that with the current strength of Xiao Yan combined with the power of the 17 holy flames, it is enough to threaten the power of the Holy Clan. 17 holy flame fusion. Such a madman-like action was actually completely integrated by this little human being in front of him. The Tianhe is destroyed. At this moment, the Shuiji holy seat did not dare to hold any more reservations. The cold voice and the palm of the hand slammed it down, and the huge devilish Tianhe instantly opened a huge gap, and countless evil forces tilted down again, forming a heart-covering huge waterfall that covers the sun. Go! The flame lotus platform came out, and the gorgeous flames swept through. Wherever it passed, the Tianhe shook, and the void made bursts of harsh flames. The power outside the flaming lotus platform completely evaporated the demonic energy in this demonic land in an instant, and it was only an instant before and after. Seeing such a strange picture, the eyelids of the Shuiji holy throne trembled violently. However, although it is said that the rotten waterfall has been corroded and evaporated by most of it, the Shuiji holy seat took a deep breath of turbid air, and the entire body corroded and fell off like a liquid. With my source, I will be buried here. Ha ha ha! Boom! The voice of the Shuiji holy seat just fell, and the whole body turned into a pool of extremely turbid liquid. The Tianhe collapsed, the void burst, and countless evil scarlet magic lights emerged from all directions, surrounding the turbid liquid. Among those turbid liquids, there was an indescribable gray eye lying quietly in it. That gray scorpion was like a dead thing, and the whole body was dark, but it doubled the pressure of the power of the Dragon King in Xiao Yan's body. That is the condensed thing of the power of the water attribute. Bloom. Seeing the Shuiji holy throne's desperate move, Xiao Yan slowly spread out his hands and stretched lazily. With the power of 17 holy flames to deal with this guy, Xiao Yan has more than 90% confidence that he can be wiped out here. Do not. Compared with the eyes lying quietly in the turbid liquid, the flame lotus platform is as small as dust ants, but it is such a small thing, but the fighting intent in the heart of the Shuiji holy seat is rapidly weakened, and the fear is rapidly magnified. After a while, when the flame lotus platform reached the surrounding of the turbid liquid transformed by the Shuiji holy seat unexpectedly shot back, and the boundless demonic energy gathered around him, forming 100 Zhang demonic energy. Shield wall. Zi-la-la. Boom. Involuntarily, the whole body of the flame lotus ignited spontaneously, and a dazzling halo exploded with an indescribable sacred flame. The entire world seemed to be completely distorted by such an explosion at this time, and the magical shield wall shattered and evaporated in an instant. Even the turbid source liquid was scattered under such terrifying destructive power, and it was quite a defeat. Trace. Guru. The powerful saints who were entrenched in the distance stared at this scene in a stunned manner, unbelievable for a while. This supreme power, who is strong enough to hover in the middle among the many saints, has become so vulnerable in Xiao Yan's hands? Oh, little chops, I swear to kill you in this life. The boundless sacred flame slammed into this world without warning, and almost all the demonic energy was purified by it, and the evil figure recondensed in the turbid liquid. He growled tremblingly, "Don't worry, you have no chance. The power of the water attribute is just right for me." Seeing the Shuiji Holy Throne in such a state of embarrassment, Xiao Yan smiled slightly, and the greed and murderous intent in his words became stronger. "Cut grass without eradicating its roots, the spring wind blows and grows again. Want to swallow us? Then see if you have that ability. Water curtain evil palace, retreat." Listening to Xiao Yan's righteous and awe-inspiring voice, the Shuiji Holy Throne dragged the body on the verge of falling, and once again displayed a water-based palace. The thick water curtain palace surged, as if it wanted to bring all its confidence and try to get out of here. Soul-devouring talisman, swallow the sky and devour the earth. The power of holy flame, purify. The Shuiji Holy Throne has been defeated, so how could Xiao Yan give him a chance to escape? Now the power of the four attributes in his body, fire, and thunder, have almost reached their peaks with the increase of holy flame and Lei Di's scripture. Only the water and wood attributes are progressing slowly, and the power in the body of the Shuiji Holy Throne is undoubtedly filled. Xiao Yan's vacancy. As for the evil forces, will they suffer backlash? A joke, the dignified Emperor of Yan, with countless sacred flames and mere evil forces, how can it be rare to defeat Xiao Yan? For the convenience of reading next time, you can click on the favorite below to record this time. Chapter 2747-17 Lotus Leaves, Holy Wheel Flame Heart. The reading record, you can see it next time you open the bookshelf. If you like Fighting the Heavens God, Yandi, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 2732. Find the latest chapter in Fighting the Sky God, Yan Emperor novel. Boom! No matter how the Shuiji Holy Throne struggled, it was of no avail, and finally fell into Xiao Yan's hands little by little. The power of the huge family of the Shuiji Holy Seat was easily destroyed by Xiao Yan's palm, who temporarily controlled as many as 17 colors of holy flames. Therefore, Xiao Yan was working hard to purify the evil power in this world and absorb the essence of the water system in his body. While guarding the 3 reincarnation light tombs, waiting for the 3 women to reincarnate completely. However, Xiao Yan's expression was somewhat solemn at this time. It seemed that he absorbed the power of the Shuiji Saint clan, and he was unable to make a breakthrough in his own strength. Although the water attribute could be greatly increased. Based on the intelligence that Xiao Yan currently controls, the evil forces attacking the Samsara Sea are the power of the 3 holy clans. The leader of one of the 3 holy clans possesses such terrifying strength. Tricky. That kind of terrifying existence that covers the sky with one hand, even today's Xiao Yan doesn't have much confidence. The gap between the 8th layer and the 9th layer seems to be very small, but Xiao Yan knows that the gap between them is like a chasm that cannot be bridged. Although the fusion of the 17 holy flames is so powerful that it can easily solve the holy sea of water childhood, such a terrifying fusion fighting skill cannot be used again in the Sea of Samsara for a short time. The fluctuation of the explosion of the Flame Lotus platform is too huge, and the endless splendid energy is overwhelming and raging, not only affecting the void of this reincarnation cemetery, but even affecting the entire reincarnation sea. At this time, the powerhouses gathered by the undead Holy Master and others were also entrenched in a strange void in the depths of the reincarnation sea, and they fought fiercely with the second powerhouse among the 3 holy clans. In the deep void of the dark Samsara Sea, countless top powerhouses turned their heads with difficulty. Their eyes were full of horror. It was obvious that the energy fluctuations generated by Xiao Yan and the Shuiji Holy Seat's fight had caused countless waves in the entire Samsara Sea. The attention of the creatures was completely attracted away. What movement? In the void, countless powerhouses have already gathered, and the crowd is divided into 2 groups. One is naturally an elite force of nearly 100 people, headed by the undead Holy Lord and other powerhouses, and the other is covered in black robes and black robes. There is a dark evil cloud carved above it, which contains an endless evil army of evil. When Xiao Yan and the Shuiji Holy Seat fought against each other, the 2 forces had already fought hundreds of times, but neither of them had obtained any advantage from the other side. They were evenly matched. My lord, This kind of fluctuation is probably the fluctuation of the Shuiji Holy Seat and others. Do you think he will? In an extremely dark and gray abyss in the void, many evil shadows wearing black robes surged, worrying. This idiot, this seat has clearly told him countless times, don't make a big mistake for the sake of meritorious service. Listening to the words of his subordinates, the leader in the dark abyss surged and snorted. When its low voice sounded, the whole world was filled with an unprecedented fear. This kind of breath is really too powerful. The three holy clans attacked the Samsara Sea together. After occupying the Samsara Sea, the troops were divided into three groups, as if they were planning something. Among them, the Shuiji Holy Seat is responsible for destroying the powerhouses caught in the reincarnation in the Sea of Samsara, and the Lord of the Holy Spirit is responsible for intercepting the offensive of many coalition forces. He is the head of the three holy clans, the 100-footed evil emperor, and buys time. Although neither of them or even know exactly what this guy is up to. Master Sheng Yuan, you can't protect yourself now, are you still worried about others? Looking at the conversation of several evil figures in front of him, the undead saint advocated in the distance with his drooping eyes and looked at each other with a smile. In the battle just now, there were advantages and disadvantages to each other. After all, it was just a tentative confrontation. At the same time, beside the undead holy master, several strong men with strength hovering around the eighth-fold reincarnation level stood behind him with awe and majesty. Under the cover of the black robe, the so-called Saint Yuan Lord's hideous face looked very terrifying, and even above his body, there was a terrifying and strange wave that kept turning. The undying Holy Master, the Lord of the desolate ancient heavenly palace. With just one of your eightfold reincarnation rank, one eightfold reincarnation rank, and three quasi-eighth-fold reincarnation rank, do these 5 cowardly people want to deal with me? This seat is a superpower who is about to step into the half-step 9th-level reincarnation rank, far from being comparable to your 8th-level reincarnation rank. In the face of this situation, the leader of the crowd, Saint Yuan Lord, waved his black robe, and circles of viscous magic energy turned into rolling waves, and the pride in his words could not be added. Yeah, so our goal today is to completely arrest you under the order of the Human World Center. Listening to the other party's provocative words, the face of the Lord of the ancient heavenly palace did not become angry. He turned his palm over, and there was actually a golden scroll on it, and a very ancient wave slowly rose above the scroll, which made people shudder. That kind of fluctuation is naturally used to deal with these evil powerhouses. If you want to arrest us, it is better to let the real powerhouses in the center of the world come, just relying on you guys who are not in the mainstream, and you are not self-sufficient. Even looking at the appearance of such a golden scroll, the Lord of Saint Yuan is still calm, but the evil aura around him is churning. Obviously, this golden scroll is probably the proud work of the center of the human world, specially used to deal with them. Stop talking nonsense. Let's fight. For a time, in the depths of the entire reincarnation sea, countless great thousand-world allied forces suddenly confronted the Saint Yuan Lord clan thoroughly. As for the Saint Yuan Lord, who has already touched the threshold of the half-step 9-fold reincarnation, it was dealt with by the 5 undead Saint Lords in an attempt to completely obliterate him. And just when the situation started to get out of control, at the end of the Sea of Reincarnation, there was a corridor that looked like a mirror. There were bloodstains everywhere on the corridor. At the end of the corridor, there was an extremely bright area of nothingness. In the center of the zone, there is a dry well. Around the dry well, there was a vaguely handsome and imposing figure standing quietly. In the dry well, the panorama of the entire Sea of Samsara was reflected, and even beside this figure, there were 2 dead corpses that had long been dead. These 2 people are the powerhouses sent by the Human World Center and the Angel Kingdom to guard the Samsara Sea, but they have already lost their vitality. Xiao Yan, a descendant of the Xiao family, has some strength. Since it is impossible to completely obliterate the reincarnation powerhouses in the Sea of Reincarnation, let's give you a fortune. Susu seems to think for a moment. The figure narrowed his eyes, looked at the 2 corpses around the dry well, and sneered. While speaking, the figures twisted their wrists, each holding 2 corpses in their hands. The dark evil power surged. Scorpions, centipedes and other 100-legged poisons quietly crawled out of their sleeves, opening their *** mouths little by little, gnawing at them. devouring angel wings, corpses, etc. 1 minute and 1 second passed, and the 2 corpses were also completely eaten away. Drops of pitch-black liquid dripped from the air toward the dry well, and then through the mysterious power of the dry well, it was easily scattered throughout the sea of reincarnation. Those spooky blood-poisonous powers surged, pouring out the entire sea of reincarnation that had long been wrapped by evil forces. Such a crisis, no one has discovered it. A real conspiracy is also being staged slowly at this time. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click the favorite below to record this time. Chapter 2748 Reincarnation Naval Battle. The reading record, you can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. If you like Fighting the Heavens God, Yandy, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 2733. Find the latest chapter in Fighting the Sky God, Yan Emperor novel. Hoo. Absorbing the power of the Shuiji Saint clan, the core of the water attribute in the body is close to saturation, and the control and use of the water attribute has reached a new level, but with the perception of soul power, it seems that what else is missing, making it difficult for the water attribute bucket core to take the most important step. In the void of the reincarnation cemetery, Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes, a layer of energy ripples like water waves dormant beside him. His eyes were full of doubts. The Do Chi Si and Do Core are the foundation of cultivation, but now the water attribute Do Nu is flashing with a vast light. Is there some kind of ambiguity in it? Now Xiao Yan's body is filled with the 3 bucket cores of 4 attributes, fire, thunder, and water, which makes his strength even more terrifying. That crucial step seemed to be missing something. Xiao Yan also knew that if any one of these 3 bucket cores could go further, his power would probably reach a whole new level, but it was cryptic and no one knew about it. Boom! Just when Xiao Yan's heart was filled with doubts, the entire sea of samsara's countless reincarnation cemeteries suddenly became restless, and one after another, the evil light waves that covered the sky and the sun fell from the sky, completely stirring up the entire reincarnation. Through the fluctuations of these evil forces, a real battle can be vaguely sensed, emerging in the depths of the sea of reincarnation. Only relying on the undead Holy Master, an 8th level reincarnation level peak and some incompetent 8th level reincarnation level powerhouses, I am afraid that it will not be able to cope with the remaining 2 holy clans. Xiao Yan's complexion sank, and he immediately left some of the holy flame power on the flame god cauldron, sheltering the 3 tombs of reincarnation, and then his speed skyrocketed and swept towards the core battle circle. If it wasn't for the need to buy time for the reincarnation of the 3 girls, Xiao Yan would never bother about the lives of these guys. Now that everyone is on the same boat, Xiao Yan will naturally not stand by and watch. Say, what happened? In the void, Xiao Yan moved rapidly, looking at the strong man who fled from the core battle circle like a lost dog and asked. Many strong men who escaped from the depths of the sea of reincarnation have large and small scars on their bodies, and their expressions are very complicated, as if they had experienced a great battle. Xiao Domain Master? The bustling crowd looked flustered, looking at Xiao Yan's figure as if grabbing the last straw for life, and it turned out to be teary eyes. What the asterisk is going on? Xiao Yan looked at the extremely evil shackles on these guys, and immediately frowned. With such a terrifying evil force, the latter's strength may not be the simple peak of the 8-fold reincarnation, or a more difficult existence. Xiao Yuzhu, you don't know something. The Human World Center appointed the Lord of the Ancient Heavenly Palace as the commander of the coalition forces, assembled a large-scale coalition army, and attacked the foreign evil tribes in the Samsara Sea together, but faced with the Saint Yuan Lord's clan among the 3 holy tribes. Our coalition army was almost wiped out. The Lord of the Ancient Heavenly Palace and the Holy Lord of the Undying were also played around by him, and now the entire sea of Samsara is under the control of the outside world. In the crowd, the voices became choked up, and it was obvious that they would never forget the battle just now. 5 powerhouses around the 8th level reincarnation rank and hundreds of powerhouses joined forces, but in the hands of this Saint Yuan Lord, they were as weak as babies. For them, it was a shame that could not be washed away. Quote. Hearing these words, Xiao Yan shook his head helplessly. It seemed that things were much more difficult than he thought. If these coalition forces are completely defeated, I am afraid that with their own strength, they will not be able to protect the Samsara Sea to the success of the three women's samsara. Time, every second counts. Do not. There's a real conspiracy here. The purpose of the three holy clans outside the territory is not only to obliterate the many powerhouses sleeping in the Sea of Reincarnation, but also to wipe out all those who came to support us. This is revenge from outside the domain, and it is also a real declaration of war from outside the domain against the Great Thousand World. One after another, hideous voices carrying expressions of despair quietly permeated their faces. Obviously, they only knew what the Master was after they had seen the power of the Holy Primordial Master. Take me there. Even if there is only a chance, you must try your best. Xiao Yan suppressed the shock in his heart and breathed heavily. That one is a terrifying existence that surpasses the peak of the eightfold reincarnation, and can kill everything in a flip of a hand. We have no hope at all. Lord Xiao Yu, kill me. Even if I die, I don't want to be a puppet outside the territory, at the mercy of others. Quote. After a while, looking at the sacred and hot flames all over Xiao Yan's body, some figures couldn't stand the torture of those evil shackles, and they actually resigned. Although they escaped from the core battle circle, they have already been planted by the evil shackles of the Holy Primordial Master. Those forces are eating away at their lives and eroding their minds. To the ends of the earth, all of them will be reduced to the walking dead outside the territory, at the mercy of others. The methods of this Saint Yuan Lord are extremely cruel, killing people and killing people, making people palpitate. Tear, I have temporarily sheltered your minds with the power of holy flame. Although the erosive power of the evil shackles is terrifying, but with the power of holy flame, you will be fine in a short time. As Xiao Yan waved his hands, slices of 9-colored holy flames poured into the bodies of these guys. After getting the holy flame into the body, those evil shackles like deadly poison were forcibly stopped. Where are they now? Take me there. Xiao Yan's head was slightly heavy, and he smiled helplessly as he looked at the bewildered human powerhouses behind him. Now that the entire Samsara Sea is imprisoned, if they don't buy time for the reincarnation of the three women, I am afraid that all of them will be buried here. At the end of the Sea of Reincarnation. Lord Xiao Yu, this way. After speaking, this strong man whose strength is only at the 7th level of reincarnation has skyrocketed in speed. The silver power of thunder around his body is constantly obliterating and expelling the evil aura in the void, guiding Xiao Yan in the direction of progress. Seeing Xiao Yan and the two rushing into the core battle circle without hesitation, the surrounding figures who had just escaped hesitated for a moment, and there was a resolute aura from the depths of their pupils, and they followed along. They are the powerhouses of the Great Thousand World. Even if they die, they will die in battle. Where can there be cowards who flinch? If everyone in the world is so cowardly, who will protect this world? Boom! At this moment, in the outermost periphery of the Sea of Samsara, layers of dark clouds are concentrated here, among which lightning flashes and thunders. A slightly dim figure is entrenched in it, and drops of pitch-black raindrops are rapidly brewing in the clouds. The real asterisk storm is about to kick off. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click on the favorite below to record this time. Chapter 2749 Defeated. The reading record, you can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. If you like Fighting the Heavens God, Yandy, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Continuing from the previous episode 2734. Find the latest chapter in Fighting the Sky God, Yan Emperor novel. The core battle circle of Reincarnation Sea, the battle place of the Undead Lord and the Lord of the Holy Spirit. Boom! At this time, an evil flying sword with a scarlet color completely enveloped the whole world, and where the flying sword surged, blood flowed into rivers. At this time, the Lord of Saint Yuan was in the center surrounded by countless evil flying swords. He held an ancient stone sword covered with gray dust. The air of contempt between them is unmatched in the world. At this time, the world here has already been completely controlled by its evil flying sword. This guy's control of swordsmanship is no less than that of the master of the sword domain, or even better. And the power of the stone sword in the hand is probably very strange. After several fights, there was a deep fear in the old eyes of the undead Holy Master, and the undead tomb coffin behind him trembled slightly. Obviously, they had underestimated the strength of the Holy Master before, which led to the precarious situation of the battle now. How should it go on like this? The scrolls in the hands of the Lord of the ancient heavenly palace have already fallen apart. Obviously, in order to resist the attack of the Lord of St. Yuan, the coalition forces are almost completely destroyed, and the scrolls are also damaged to varying degrees. Now it seems that only by gathering the strength of all of us and fighting against the odds can we have a chance of winning. Before such a life and death crisis, you should not hold back. After thinking for a while, the undead Holy Master said with a gloomy expression, "If it was hidden like this, I am afraid that the coalition army would be destroyed in the hands of the Holy Master. I'm giving you one last chance. This name is called Endless Swordfield. In the world of evil and darkness, experience death." As soon as the voice of the Lord St. Yuan fell, a vortex of energy ripples appeared in the void of the whole body. In the vortex, all kinds of weapons full of evil aura were dormant, waiting for the latter's order to completely burst out. Go, that scene is extremely magnificent. The holy tomb of the undying, desert heaven palace, ... Seeing such a fatal blow from the latter, no one in the coalition army behind him flinched again, and a huge sound resounded through the world. Among them, 5 of the 8-fold reincarnation level powerhouses were pale, and their last resort was completely exhausted. Gushing. Kill. Watching the 5 such vicious attacks quietly fall, a trace of disdain suddenly appeared in the gloomy eyes of the Lord of St. Yuan, and he waved the stone sword, and countless attacks followed from the vortex of ripples. In such an endless sword field, countless terrifying evil weapons that erode people's hearts continue to spread out. Once they are hit by them, the bodies of many coalition powerhouses are easily bound by evil shackles. It erodes the vitality in their bodies and eats away their minds. Bang bang bang. The attack of the 5 powerhouses around the 8-fold reincarnation level was earth-shattering, but under the never-ending attack of the endless sword territory, the attack of the 5 people disappeared quickly, their faces were gloomy, and countless evil weapons hummed and wandered around. A sense of unease finally filled his heart. The dignified king of the saints from outside the territory is so insidious, but it humiliates your illustrious name. At the same time, when the 5 people's unease expanded rapidly, a loud voice suddenly swept from the world, accompanied by a dazzling flame, rising from a distance. "Who is your excellency?" Looking at the 5 dying coalition powerhouses, the Lord St. Yuan turned and stared at the edge of the void. At this time, in the gorgeous flames that flickered out, there seemed to be an eternal figure standing still, and the flames were full of the divine breath made his face slightly moved. Just from the surging degree of such flames, it can be known that the threat of this guy is even a bit more terrifying than the undead Holy Master among the 5 members of the coalition. Xiaoyan, the undead tomb coffin behind the undead Holy Master released a gray death light, sheltering the 5 people, and then turned his head to stare at the figure with difficulty. Gathering the strength of the coalition forces and the 5 of them is still unable to completely wipe out the catastrophe of this reincarnation sea. It seems that the strength of the kings of these 3 holy clans has already exceeded their expectations. Xiaoyan, this is the World Master's order, you can't wait to help me to obliterate the evil clan. Seeing Xiaoyan's figure coming out of the endless sea of fire little by little, the Lord of the ancient heavenly palace put the golden scroll in his hand on his chest and said to him arrogantly, "This golden scroll is naturally the human world Lord's warrant, and it is filled with a trace of the human world Lord's power, but the holy primordial Lord has already prepared, so it has no effect." Xiaoyan, listening to the voices of the undead holy masters, the eyes of the holy master were suddenly filled with an unprecedented joy. The most outstanding person among the descendants of the Xiao ethnic group at present. It is also the primary target of the aliens trying to obliterate. This guy broke through from the Do-Chi continent and entered the Great Thousand World. He has grown to this stage in less than 100 years. The threat of Xiaoyan is even more than that of any strong person in the Xiao family in the past. Stop using this trick to overwhelm me. This guy, I will deal with it. But this is not for you, but for the people I protect. Xiaoyan savagely dropped such a sentence, and immediately the sea of fire suddenly expanded, and in an instant it became a stalemate with the endless sword system of the St. Yuan Lord. This guy, listening to Xiao Yan's arrogant words, the lord of the ancient heavenly palace was full of resentment, but after thinking about it carefully, he suppressed his anger. The power of the 5 of them, in addition to the undead lord, the attack of the other 4 acts on the Lord of the Holy Spirit like a tickling. If there is civil strife at this time, I am afraid that everyone will be buried here. As for Xiao Yan, after this matter is over, some people in the center of the human world will come to clean him up. Are you Xiao Yan? Your temperament and strength are extraordinary. No wonder it will make our foreign evil clan close to collapse. Lord Saint Yuan held the evil stone sword in his hand, and immediately raised a playful smile at the corner of his mouth, hiding the knife in his smile. Saint Race Powerhouse, Saint Yuan Lord certainly lives up to its reputation. The whole body was filled with flames, Xiao Yan felt it at will, and it was not difficult to find that nearly half of the evil army had already turned into corpses lying on the ground. But this sea of reincarnation is our vast world, a place to sleep and sleep. I'm afraid it will not be as you wish. The next moment, a hot flame rose in Xiao Yan's eyes, and a fierce killing intent spread out. A sharp-toothed boy. By the way, that's the so-called Shuiji Holy Seat clan, which has been buried in my hands. The next moment, Xiao Yan smiled and scratched his head, as if he remembered something. You wanna die? The originally calm-faced Lord Saint Yuan heard Xiao Yan's harmless words. The cold aura on his face became stronger and stronger, and the evil stone sword in his hand hummed endlessly, as if he would launch the most deadly attack on Xiao Yan at any time. Attack! For the convenience of reading next time, you can click on the favorite below to record this time. Chapter 2750 Evil Shackles, Endless Sword Domain. The reading record, you can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. If you like Fighting the Heavens God, Yandy, please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis.